my channel. If you guys are new, welcome to the family. My name is Dina. Today we are going to be doing some kitchen witchery, and this is something that I felt called to do this week because, guys, I had a little bit of a tough time. I've been a little depressed. I've felt very energetically depleted, and a lot of stuff that's kind of happening around me is just, it's heavy. There's a lot of heavy energy right now. So I felt like I really needed to do something for self-care, and I did have a couple days to just relax and do nothing. But when I started to regain a little bit of energy but still was a little bit stuck in a rut, I'm like, you know what, let's do some self-care. And I felt really called to do some baking. And today we're going to be making something that is one of my favorite recipes to make. It is not my personal recipe, so the link is in the description box below to give credit to the actual person that made that. I am not that talented of a baker to make my own recipes, at least not yet. But it is a beautiful recipe. It's so delicious. And what is mine is the spell that goes along with it. You know, you could take any recipe and turn it into something magical. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be actually doing a peace and protection kitchen magic spell. And it's funny because when I was thinking about what I wanted to do, I'm like, hey, what do I want to do? I'm like, it's kind of self-love, self-care in a way, but I'm like, that doesn't quite sum it up. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I feel right now that I need some peace and I need some protection, like energetic protection. That is what I feel like I need right now. And just peace of mind, because I've been so stressed and anxious about so many different things. And it's funny because I did a little bit more research into kitchen magic, because kitchen magic is something that's fairly new to me, and I was researching it, and it's funny because blueberries came up as an ingredient for peace and protection, and I'm like, no way. I felt like I needed to do a peace and protection spell. Here I am, I'm like, I want to make my blueberry oatmeal breakfast bars that I love to make. Like, these are so good, and they just happen to be the perfect ingredient for the spell. It's just like the two just magically like matched together, just aligned perfectly. So I'm like, let's do this. I'm not going to tell you every step by step of how I made the actual bars, because all of that is in the description box below on the original site. But what I do want to share with you is how I made it magical. Now, I do want to say that the ingredients that I use were basically to a T, except for the sugar content. I do like to cut down on sugar in recipes most of the time. So in this recipe, it did call for brown sugar and regular sugar. I just used brown sugar, and I used a little bit less than the recipe called for. Part of it you're going to be mixing in the crumble, and then part of it you're going to be using mixed in actual blueberries. Now, before you get started, before you start this spell or any spell for the matter, you want to make sure you cleanse your space. Some people will cleanse their space pretty frequently and feel like they don't need to do this before every spell, but I am not the best at, you know, daily cleansing and keeping up with it all the time, so I always make sure I cleanse my space before my spells. Next, you're going to need some witchy tools, something to really bring the energy into the room and, you know, bring the energy to your spell. So take what you want, but you don't have to use every single thing I used in my spell. You can change things depending on what you have available to you, but I chose to have a white candle and a black candle lit during this spell because I wanted white for peace and black for protection. So those were the things I really wanted to focus my energy on, and having the visual, having the energy of those two candles really helped for me to pull that energy in. And I also brought some crystals into my space for that energy as well. I actually decided to bring some rose quartz because you can never have too much love and self-love in your space. I also brought some smoky quartz and some obsidian because I just wanted the protective energies of those crystals. I also brought down some blue lace agate because it is a very peaceful stone, and I wanted that energy there too. So collect whatever crystals, whatever materials you feel really helps you channel that energy during your spell. Now, really the only difference between baking and kitchen magic is the intention and the feeling that you put into this spell. You're infusing the ingredients, you're infusing this creation with your personal energy. And what I want to kind of emphasize in this whole process is taking your time. You know, it's not one of those baking sessions where you're like, oh, I just want to throw this together, I want to get this done, like I don't have a lot of time to bake, I just want to make it, let's just get it done so I can eat it. Like, you don't want it to be rushed. You want to be relaxed. You want to put that love into your creation, and that is the main difference. So as I am mixing these ingredients, I'm infusing them with my love. I'm infusing them with that intention of peace and protection. So you'll often see I kind of switch back between a spoon and my hands in this recipe because sometimes I just feel like I like to work with my hands, and it helps me to like really infuse that energy a little bit more. Plus there was a point where I kind of just needed to break down that the brown sugar. Now when doing kitchen magic, you can also say your own spell out loud or incantation or whatever you want to call it. I created one for this particular spell, but of course feel free to make your own. Feel free to say whatever you are called to say, and feel free to say it as many times as you want. I actually said this one line quite often throughout my mixing process, and I like to keep things quite simple, things that I can, you know, remember easily and I can repeat over and over again, like almost like an affirmation in a way. But if you want to make some sort of elaborate ritual, like go right ahead, whatever is good for you. So as I mixed my ingredients together, I said the line, "By the power of the universe, I infuse these ingredients with love, peace, and protection." And you can say this as many times as you want and really feel it. As you place the breakfast bars into your oven, you're gonna say something else. Again, you can use my phrase or you can say whatever you want, but I chose to say, "May this treat energetically protect me or whoever consumes them. May the heaviness leave my body and the love and light stay. Blessed be." So you can say this once, you can say this a bunch of times. I said this one once, it's a little bit longer, and the other one I said quite a few more times. Now all you have to do is wait for your breakfast bars to be ready. I always set a timer when I'm baking because I'm horrible at checking the clock. So make sure you do that. They will be ready after about 25 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Try not to cut them right out of the oven. I know a lot of people get really excited, me, to eat the food right after it's done, but honestly guys, letting it cool is very important because it allows the bar to hold in a more solid shape. It'll just be a crumbly mess if you try to get it out of the pan before it's completely cooled down. With that being said, this treat is delicious hot if you choose to eat it hot, or you can eat it cool if you choose to. I often will actually pop it in the microwave when I go to eat it the next day, and it's just really delicious. Now if you choose to put out your candles, I highly recommend using a candle snuffer instead of blowing them out. This is just my personal belief, and some people believe this, some people don't. It honestly depends on you, but I feel like when it comes to doing specific workings, blowing out the candle almost undoes the spell, you know, it eliminates it. Whereas a candle snuffer is just like a good way to save your candle if you want to use it for another thing, but it's not, you know, blowing it out, you're not eliminating it with that breath. It really depends on the person though. Again, like when it comes to trying to bring more of something in my life, whether it is bringing prosperity or bringing in peace or bringing in protection, I like to use a candle snuffer. But when it comes to if you're like using like it for a banishment spell or something like that, then it makes more sense to blow it out. I personally chose to let the candles continue to burn for this spell. I just wanted to keep the energy in the kitchen through the entire time. Even while the food was baking, I just wanted the energy to stay as long as it could. So I actually let my candles burn to the very end, but do whatever you feel called to do. My final tip for this spell is when you do finally eat your treat, eat it slowly and mindfully and without distraction. This is a way for the spell to really, really work. And if you're distracted by your phone or distracted by something else, it's not gonna have the same effect. There's something very powerful about slowing down and just being by yourself and your energy and just enjoying the food and really savoring the taste of the treat and savoring the moment. That is what I did today. I took some time out on the porch, to just, you know, smell the fresh air. Yeah, I made sure I took the time to really mindfully enjoy this treat, and I recommend you guys do it too. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you guys made it to the end, you are honestly amazing, beautiful people. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. If you guys want to help me out a little bit more, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and join the family. We would love to have you be a part of this growing family community. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I post new videos every single week. You don't want to miss out on them. And I hope you guys have an amazing, beautiful, relaxing day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.